Alright, this is my demo for a face pendant. It's not my design. Nathan Spence, pretty talented glassblower. These are his design, and I was just doing a little sculpting practice. That there is my waterless gravity bomb. Shit fucking kills. So this color I'm using, I can't remember exactly what it was called. I think it was like lapis blue or something like that. I just had a sample stick of it. Never used it before. I just threw a handle on it, torched the label off, and clean it up a little. And I'm just gonna gather it up. Probably would have been quicker to throw another handle on the other end, but I don't know, I wasn't in a rush. Nice fat gather. Left a little piece. Didn't want to gather up the whole stick, because I'm going to want to use a little bit of that color later on. Just getting it nice and hot so I can throw a punty on the other end. And then just give it a little stretch. Shape it a little before I remove. And then remove.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Shit. And I'm just heating it up more so I can throw another punty on, continue to shape. I made all these beats on this video, by the way. Alright, now I got the head shape, pretty much. Just cleaning it up a little. Nice little peanut shape. Alright, dialed down my flame a little bit so I can get that dimple going for the eyeball. So I'm heating one spot in the front, just give it a little poke. I reamed it a little bit, made it a little bigger, so the eyeball can sit in there nice and smoothly. Got my white there for the eyeball. little touch and pull. I'm just gonna smooth this out, get it all welded in. I don't know. Looks like make some glass blowing faces too. I think every glass blower just has a face they make when they're in the zone. Now I'm going for the iris dot stack. It's a little application of color for the iris on the eyeball. And then just weld that in, nice and easy. So there's the head with the eye and the iris. Picked up that original color, that lapis, I think is what it was called. I'm just gonna throw in a little eyelid action. Nice clean application for the eyelid. And I always round off the color that I just used so that when I go to use it later, it's nice and clean. It won't pop off and cuts down on waste a lot. There, I just pulled off a little point that was on my eyelid. Made it even. There's this is my first real use of like a knife. Usually I use a butter knife to do any sculpting, but it's very blunt. And this was the only real knife I had without ruining a kitchen knife. So it's a survival knife. Pretty unwieldy, but got the job done. I'm just giving that eyelid a little bit of contour and some wrinkles, a little bit of realism. I'm also welding it in at the same time to the face, so it looks like it's not just sitting on top. It's just like it's all one piece of skin, like it should be. Here I'm going for a bottom eyelid, which is I just felt trying it. And round off that color again. Clean it up a little. And just weld it in a little bit. Grab that big ass knife. Do a little bit more shaping and sculpt it on the eyelids. Give the eyelid some fold, so it looks like actual fold of skin is enclosing around the eye. Here I needed a really quick stringer, so I just pulled one real quick and continued to work before my piece even got cold. And I used that stringer to make my nose dots. Here I'm just doing a little sculpting on the nose, pushing those dots up a little bit, trying to create a area of like the nose going into the upper lip and all that. Here I'm just throwing a punty on it. It looks like it broke off. Oh, broke off again. Instead of wasting time, just picked it up with some grabbers. I don't want it to cool off too much. I dropped it twice. And I need to do that nose sculpting, so finish that up here. It's giving me a little trouble. Alright, it looks like I moved on from the nose onto the mouth. Little dot for the mouth. Heat it up, weld it in, and just give it a nice poke in. And I left a little lip when I did that. That dot, the edge of the dot was still sitting out and giving him the bottom lip, almost. Punty back up to the bottom so I can ditch those grabbers. Pick up that purple, that law piece again, and throw some ears on him. Give him a little flame bath, weld him in a little. Going for the plugs now. Nice easy application there. A couple dots. Weld them in, real easy. Pretty much just making sure everything's even. Here I was improvising a little bit. Decided to give him some horns. The color there is called Persimmon Strike. It's a really cool color. Starts off like a creamy translucent, and then it just strikes this really awesome pinkish red. Well, persimmon. So pretty much just applied a dot to each side where the horns were going to be and stretched them out a little bit. Try to give them a little twist to contour them. But it was actually one of my first times really attempting horns, so I was going in blind and just kind of improvising as I went along. Trying to give them a little twist and turns, you know, like a cool horn would be, you know. But it was giving me a little bit of trouble. I was spending a lot of time on it, and I wanted to move on, so I cleaned it up as best I could. Just decided to leave it. putting on a loop. Go back to the original color, that law piece, attach it to the top there, and just leave a fat glob on top, round off that law piece again, just so if I need to use it again later, it's there, ready to go. Heat up that loop and just give it a twist to the back, weld in the back to the back of the head. Nice fine tip, flame for that. Here's those reverse tweezers. They're really good for reaming loops to size without an actual reamer. Comes in handy for me a lot. I use them for every pendant I make. Now with those horns right there, there's a horn on each side of the loop, so I had to work around them, and the loop was taking a little bit longer than I wanted it to, because I kept getting the horns hot, and I wasn't meaning to, so I had to work real delicately right there. And it's pretty much just condensing and stretching and condensing and stretching, just so you get a nice even loop all the way around, and I want to straighten it, of course. So now I'm putting some dot work, a little bit of decoration on the actual loop. Should give him some style. Again, just trying to weld that in without hitting the horns too much. Give it a quick little ream. Now right here, I didn't like the horns. I decided to take them off. And just redo them. So here I'm just ripping off the horns, cleaning it up, get a fresh canvas to throw some new horns on. Same thing, just a little dot that's stretched into shape. And really I did know better, but since it was applied after the loop, I had a little bit more control there, so alright, so here I'm just finishing off these damn horns. They're taking too long, so I didn't want to leave it looking shitty, so eventually I did move on and finally throw the pupil onto the eyeball and give it a quick little weld. What it looks like from, I mean, you can't see too much detail in it, but get the idea. Quick tap, get the punny off, polish that. The chin was a little bit flat, so I wanted to give his face a little more length, I suppose. So I started by flattening a little bit to get a good spot for my punty to grab onto. And then just heated up that whole bottom touch and a quick little pull just to stretch that chin down a little bit. And again. Now polish. Since I don't want that chin particularly pointy, just flatten it a little bit. And then for the final touch, just a little bit of hair on that chin. Goatee action. It's always a good thing. For some reason, I like to put goatees on things. So, there he is. Plugs, horns, and a goatee. It's badass. It's a badass pendant. Throw him in the kiln, and that's about it. So, yep.